What's going on, everybody? This is a segment from the Nerdgasm Talk podcast. If you like podcasts, well, why don't you come join us as the crew gets silly and Philly while we sit to talk about the latest in comics, games, movies, and all things pop culture. You guys can listen to our whole show on all the podcasts apps. We're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys get your podcasts from. And make sure you guys also support the channel by subscribing to the Nerd Coalition Studios. And for the gaming needs, make sure you subscribe to Nerd Coalition Level Up. This is the Nerd Coalition. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. And now, feel the Nerdgasm.
Well, but one of the things that we do gotta talk about though is now, you've been down there, I didn't see it, but we gotta talk about the Hall H news for Marvel. Okay, because there was a lot of things that happened, a lot of reveals that, to be honest with you, I don't know how I feel about that. So, might as well get on to it. Let's just get this skim of what happened at the beginning. They had a Deadpool Wolverine, choir singing like Madonna, like a prayer that happened. Captain America, they had some new footage of Captain America: Brave New World, and Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford came out and was John with everybody. They had the Thunderbolts coming out, which that movie is coming out. It had an asterisk at the end of the name, and I was like, okay, so what does that mean? But they said you guys see the movie and find out. But Ray Gardy came out with his gear and all that stuff like that, so I heard that was cool. Then they got to a news that I'm a fan of. Now, if anybody knows me or listen to the Nerdgasm Talk podcast for a good long while, they would know that Mr. A&E is a fan of two things that come to Marvel. Do you remember what they are, Quattro?
No, please run them back for me.
Okay, X-Men and Fantastic Four.
This is true.
Yes, so
this is true. I was thinking characters, you thinking franchise. Go ahead.
Exactly, yeah. I was just like, so I was looking forward to the new news for Fantastic Four, and so they got the title for the movie called Fantastic Four: First Steps. This movie is going to be a futuristic 1960s depiction of the Fantastic Four. I was like amazed. I'm like, that is damn near perfect right now, because we already seen all the Fantastic Four origin stories from cartoons to movies and different verses, stuff like that. We don't need to see the origin story again. But also, they showed some footage there, but it's also taking place in the 1960s. But since we're in the multiverse saga, it's taking place in like this futuristic thing. It gave me, because you watched The Flash, it gave me, remember when they went to Earth 2 and it was like a futuristic old school time frame?
Yes.
It's the universe that Jay Garrett was a part of. Well, this is what this is right here. And it's like it's 1960s, but it got a lot of that Jack Kirby type of artwork and how things look futuristically and how rockets look and things like that. And I was like, that is something I am very much intrigued about. And I'm like, and I'm pretty sure Fantastic Four is going to be the one that's going to go in probably between the new Avengers movies, which I'm about to get to in a second. But them revealing that, I think it was awesome. But then also with the new Avengers movies now, because we knew Avengers 5 was going to be called Kang Dynasty. Well, they were bold. They cut it. They didn't do Avengers Man and force go with it. They cut it. Now it's called Avengers 5 Doomsday, and now going into Avengers 6 Secret Wars. Which then brings me to the reveal of one of Marvel's greatest villains, Dr. Doom. And Dr. Doom, going into the end of these phases, is being played by none other than Robert Downey Jr. That's right.
It's weird.
Tony Stark is back in the MCU, but not as Tony Stark, but as Victor Von Doom. And when they announced it, I've seen people on social media that was getting hyped, but I also seen people on social media that was like, I don't like that. And then I'm sitting, the one big thing I was looking at on social media, what people were saying was like, they look desperate, right? So I was like, okay, so I did a short on it just to get my initial reaction to it. I was like, I don't know how to feel. So I've slept on it, and I've done this. And once again, for the Fantastic Four being one of my favorite franchises and superheroes, especially on the Marvel side, I was like, I don't know. Now, once again, before I ask for your opinion, Quattro, I'm letting anybody know out there who's listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube section. I don't have a problem with Robert Downey Jr. playing, and Robert Downey Jr. is an Academy Award winning actor. Okay, and I know recency bias. Everybody has him as Tony Stark, which is understandable. But Robert Downey Jr. has range when he has played Chaplin, when he has played Tropic Thunder, when he just won an award for Oppenheimer. The man is the acting ain't the problem. It's just that what I can turn my brain off and on to see, and the fact that like is this going to be a Tony Stark variant that is going to be Victor Von Doom, but as like Tony Stark went down a different path and became Victor Von Doom, or is this just a completely different person like Victor Von Doom and it's just this Robert Downey Jr. playing him? I mean, because that would be completely stupid. It would have to be a variant. It would have to be a variant of Tony Stark to play Victor Von Doom, because I think they're trying to set up all the when Spider-Man sees him again and all the people see Tony again, but it's really Doom. But real quick, your initial reactions, Quattro, of hearing this news being there.
Just rolling off what you just said, it only makes sense as a variant, because this is going to be part of the MCU.
Yes.
All they got to do, simply put, I'm throwing out bad numbers. Don't correct me because I don't care. This is Earth 23. And on Earth 23, this Tony Stark becomes Doom. That's it. That was going to happen. Then eventually the lines get blurred. And then just like it was just says, the Peter we know sees that Tony and is confused. Oh my God, you're doing the name. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. You can't lie to me and they're like, this is a completely different person that this person doesn't know. No, that's weird. So
you're right.
And then let's be honest. As said, Robert Downey Jr. can act. He is going to do a good job. Just imagining him as Doom makes sense, because all you gotta do is just be Tony and be pissed off, and then you got it. He's going to pull off the freaking role well. It's just jarring. It's like, what? What happened? What's going? How is he back? You wouldn't use a different person? Gotta be a variant. It can't make sense any other way.
I 100% agree with you on that. And the thing is, also because I'm excited for it, because hell, we're getting Doom, we're getting Fantastic Four futuristic. Hell, they even show footage from that Fantastic Four thing and showing that Galactus eye was looking in. I'm like, you remember how Tim Story did Galactus? He's a fucking cloud. Okay, so yeah, I'm excited for all that stuff, but my God, it's just that I just can't shake that that's Tony Stark. It made the role so iconic. It's so iconic. It's like this. Chris Evans' Human Torch was funny, but it wasn't that iconic that when he played Cap, I didn't just see Johnny Storm. You know what I'm saying? I see Chris Evans playing something else. So it was like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern was not that iconic to the point that when he's playing Deadpool, all I see is Green Lantern. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
But Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark, even him improvising, is so iconic, and it's a staple that I don't see it, even in this setting. I don't want anything, because this will happen to Chadwick in some people's opinion. It's like, in this setting, when I say setting, I mean comic book movies, superhero movies. In this setting, all I see is Tony Stark. Because in Oppenheimer, he could play them roles. In The Judge, he could play those different roles. I know it's Robert Downey Jr. That's how I felt about Chadwick. Like, in these comic book movies, I see him as T'Challa, and it's hard not to see him as that. But even on the outside, I'm just like, he's the guy that plays every single biopic. You know what I'm saying? So that's how. And I just know, like, if they put Chadwick in the movie, I think he's gonna give it his all. I don't just see like, oh, that's T'Challa playing in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I don't see that. It's just this. It just felt so weird. And on top of that, we get no news about what's going to happen with Kang. Because honestly, I really thought that they was going to just recast him, because he hasn't been in so much stuff to the point where he made a staple. Because Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania did not do as it underperformed. I don't care what anybody says, it underperformed. Okay, that really because after Thor: Love and Thunder, excuse me, people was already turned off by that. But then when this came out, when that Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania came out, they were like, this ain't it. This ain't it.
I feel like it would leave too great of a hole not to at least express Kang in the slightest.
Yeah.
They tied it in to Quantumania. They tied it into Loki heavy. We know about all the other variants. We know about I'm sorry if you've seen the after credits of Quantumania, so we know something's supposed to be happening with Kang.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea to just be like, well, it's over. No, you got to do something. You got to at least close the book somehow. Do something.
Because the way Ant-Man, this movie's over a year old now. You know what I'm saying? So, a spoiler: when they ended on the Council of Kangs.
Yes, they did. And
I'm just like, well, damn! If we go here, let's go here. But now, after Jonathan Major was found guilty on assault, Marvel fired him, and I was like, and Jonathan Major's Kang wasn't my problem because I actually liked his version of Kang. It was, maybe they just sucked.
I did too.
What'd you say?
No, I did too.
Oh, yeah.
I did too. I was a fan of him. He went through some unfortunate, which I do believe he did beat, but it still got a bad taste in people's mouth.
Yeah.
So now they got to figure out something. You just can't end it though.
Yeah, I would have it's going to recast, but then I would say what they failed on was trying to make him feel like the next Thanos, the next big bad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
right.
When I first saw the movie, I was for that, but it's the way Ant-Man ended that I was like, Scott Lang getting too many hits in. You know what I'm saying? For him to be that, that guy. And then the Council of Kangs, and then what's going on in Loki, I was like, okay, I was really stoked to see Jonathan Majors play 100 versions of himself. Because I don't, because we've seen people play 2 versions of themselves, stuff like that. But I'm talking about like 100 different versions of himself. I was really curious to see how that was going to go, and I was like, well, they can really just recast him, and then we can just like, okay, kind of find a way to write Kang off. But it seemed like they just going to erase that. I don't necessarily know what the plan is going to be, but like they just going to like erase that. I'm just like, I kind of want a wrap up, and then we're going into this in the Doom thing, and I'm like, okay, so is Robert Downey Jr. going to be like, he has to probably be in that Fantastic Four movie, but does that come first, or no, it can't come first because that Fantastic Four movie is, that Avengers Doomsday movie is next year, right? Or is it 2026?
Yes, it is. I think it's next year.
Yeah,
and that's why I said, simple, guys. Listen, I am not no movie producer. I'm not a writer. I'm not a director. If you just show me Jonathan Majors as Kang shape-shift into another person, that's it. Just do that and keep it rolling. And finish up the storyline. Don't leave it not done.
Yeah, exactly. Even if it's something like, okay, well, we will find a way to save Kang for later, I'm cool with that too.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
You just can't forget it. That's what we're saying. I can't forget what already happened. I was there. I saw it. It's live. It's canon.
Yeah. So that's how when you so wrapped up in the MCU, that's how that shit is. It has to be that fucking way. So I get it. I get it. So yeah, it was just confusing to me, and honestly, I'm still running with the range of emotions. I do understand. I did see some arguments online also that was stating that this could, it's a good way to help bounce back the MCU. And I mean, on playing devil's advocate, I can kind of agree with that a little bit. I can understand that bringing Robert Downey Jr., who is a name, those areas, and also they already fired the person that was going to do Avengers 5, the writer director for that one. Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm kind of glad because Quantumania was not good, but they bringing back the Russo brothers, and the Russos did Infinity War and Endgame, and out of all the Avengers movies, Infinity War is my favorite one. And I think the Russo brothers did
not a bad pick.
Yeah. I think the Russo brothers did a great job giving all of those characters some time to shine. That's why I like. Because here's the thing, everybody likes. I've heard people say they like Endgame more, and the reason why I do like Endgame, but the reason why I don't put Endgame over Infinity War is because the first half of that movie is focused on the old Avengers, and then going through time, we're still focused on those 6 Avengers plus, like most of the old cast, right? And then by the time we get to the end of the movie is when everybody comes back and we just have a basic big ass fight scene. So it's just like a comic book come to life type thing. But Infinity War, you had to balance character. And first of all, I will never forgive the Russos for what they did to the Hulk. That's my one nitpick. But that's my one fucking nitpick. But however, everybody in Infinity War, from the top of the top to Thor, Cap, and Iron Man, to the lowest of and when I say lowest, I don't mean trash. I'm talking about lowest of characters from like Happy Hogan to even Heimdall. Each played a role in the movie somehow. They may not have long roles, but they played something so small that was meaningful to the plot of the movie. That's why I personally like Infinity War more. So with them coming back to do Avengers 5 and 6, hell yeah, I'm gonna be excited for that. And I'm just curious of how, because Secret Wars, hell, before we talk about spoilers for Deadpool, it's like we already got Secret Wars already. So I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to see how they're gonna do this. I'm just, it's like my fandom of Marvel Cinematic Universe wants to just jump out and scream because RDJ's that fucking dude. But my love also for the Fantastic Four is keeping me hesitant, if that makes sense.
I don't know whether or not to be excited.
Exactly. It's exactly. It's like, yo, this is the MCU coming back. RDJ is coming back. We're getting fucking Fantastic Four. We're getting Avengers movies by the Russos. We're getting the Thunderbolts, which is like Marvel Suicide Squad. Captain America: Brave New World, which, by the way, if you've seen that teaser trailer, it looks dope. And I like those. I like those like those political thrillers that they have. But Harrison Ford was in a lot of them in the '90s. So this like this fits this wheelhouse, and we get Red Hulk. I'm not saying because I am yearning for a Hulk to destroy some shit because I ain't get that in the past like 5-6 years. Okay, because fuck the Russo brothers on that.
I don't know how I haven't got my Planet Hulk movie at this point.
I mean, She-Hulk, kiss my ass on that. And then when it comes to how he got his ass whooped in the Infinity War, and then he has performance anxiety, and come on, man. Well, excuse me. It's for performance anxiety throughout the whole movie, but then he comes back as Smart Hulk and he just snaps. I'm just like, man, get your lick back on Thanos. They ain't do shit. No. Oh. That bothered me. But that's a rant for another day. It's just that my MCU fanboy was coming back because I'm excited, especially after seeing Deadpool Wolverine, because I'm really hyped for Secret Wars. Because see, that's why I said I'm hyped for the Russos coming back, because they have to do Secret Wars like they did Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're bringing all these characters in, so you got to do Secret Wars like you do Infinity War, and that's what I know they are excellent at doing. So I am excited for that. It's just that RDJ is my Dr. Doom now, and I'm like, shit. I was almost to the point like, yo, bring back Julian McMahon from Nip Tuck. You know what I'm saying? And have him do Doom again. Which I can tell you right now, anybody in the comments or listening was like, fuck that. But I get it. I'm just like, but. I don't know. I just ain't have the Doom that my comic accurate Doom just yet, and I just.
Well, let me
go ahead.
Let me tell you this: if there was any chance that whatever that Marvel movie wasn't going to get numbers, that is shot to hell now. Because now, not only you going to have the fans that just was going to see it regardless, you got the casuals that was like, I got to see how this makes sense. You got critics like, I gotta see where this is going.
Yeah.
Talk about you just guaranteed your money. You just guaranteed your money.
You're right.
Easily. Even if you don't care, you want to know, which is insane.
You are right. So we're gonna have to see how it plays out with RDJ. It's great to see him back in the MCU, but I have to see how not that he can't act the role and be evil. He can do all that. It's just how they fit this in there. And if we're going the variant route, and because once again, this could be the most awesome fucking thing there is.
Right.
Because that means he'll be the main villain for Secret Wars.
Also, shout out to him for getting at least, and you know what? Real talk, shout out to him. How many movies he do so far? Like 8, something crazy like that, right?
Yeah.
He just guaranteed another 8 more movie checks. This man's a genius. Kill me all, bring me all. You know how many people in the back like, you know I could come back too. I don't mind coming back as another character. I mean, if that's what we doing now, then what's up?
Exactly.